Wednesday, and I'm Captain Preetham Madhukar, founder of Skills Beyond Education, author of the book Three Culprits: Laziness, Fear, and Doubt, and an elite performance coach for executives, entrepreneurs, students, and parents. And today I have with me a very interesting guest, Dhananjay, who's the founder of Robopreneur and who brings structured robotics learning to young children to help them transform into robotic geniuses and become future innovator. And he comes with
Oh,
a vast experience of 25 years, and he's worked with some big giants like Apple and Cisco, and very passionate about STEM education and bringing that education to children and young adults. Thank you, Dhananjay, for taking time out and being here with me. And I'm very excited to learn about robotics, and I'm sure people who are going to be listening in are going to be looking forward to this.
okay. Thank you, Captain Preetham, for having me in the call. Good evening, everyone. So, yeah, really, it's a pleasure that I'm in this call and I can share my thoughts around Robopreneur and robotics.
Yeah. And thank you to the audience who are listening in, whether you're listening in live or probably the recorded, whatever version or wherever you are. Thank you so much for taking this time out. I'm really glad that you're supporting this initiative and being here and, taking value from this. And we hope to give a lot of value in this next 1 hour. And Dhananjay has got some amazing work that he has done, and I'm very curious to learn about it and all the things that he has got to share. So, Dhananjay, to get started, like what got you into this robopreneur world and this passion about educating youngsters in this domain?
Okay, so I've been into tech since 25 years. I have been really passionate about technology, and I've seen that what kind of power it brings in the hands. And when I was growing up, I never had this opportunity to actually learn tech. So I got my first break during the engineering in third year, and that's where I realized, okay, this world of digital technology, no computers, programming, coding, all these things so amazing. And robotics, as we went along, it always piqued my interest. So I started exploring, and at the same time, my son, he was studying in the school, and then I realized that he was passionate about robotics, but in the school it had actually limited options for him to learn robotics in a proper way. So that was an idea which came into my mind that tech education is actually going to be essential, and I have already explored the power of tech education. And no, the examples are all around. Tech creators are actually changing the world. So, so we actually really need a structured learning program in technology, and especially in the area of robotics, because robotics gives multiple technologies in one go. So that's where this thing all started when I saw my son struggling with robotics and not getting enough help. So I thought, okay, no, it sounds good even for me because I'm from tech background. So why not have a structured program? So that's how it all started, and it has been like 5 years now. We have been doing this, and no, we have been actually no, we are doing in-person classes as well as we have online platform where students learn, and we are already seeing a lot of transformation which are coming in the students when it comes to technology, and we are seeing their capabilities increasing when it comes to building things, and yeah, it's pretty amazing so far. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, it's nice to hear this story because my own story was inspired when I wanted to give some education to my son, and how I felt that the education was so restricted to academics alone, and it didn't cater to building these skill sets of building their capacity building, courage building, thinking mindset, design thinking. All that was missing in education, and it was not helping them build that what I call will strength. And that's how Skills Beyond Education started with my program called Stargazing, where I would do, in a way, naked eye viewing of the skies like the ancients and helping them build that imagination. And I'm so happy that you're doing this in the robotic space where you're building this kind of capacity for children, especially making them stakeholders of the future, helping them grow there. So what would the age group be that you would say children should focus? I mean, the parents or the children should get involved in robotics. What would be a good age for them and to build those things?
Okay, so so I've done actually quite a bit of research. I've done a lot of study, and it's so the age group which we are currently focusing on starts from age 8, and so that actually corresponds to grade 3. So we take care of like from age 8 to age 18, grade 3 to grade 12, and that is from my experience that this age group actually works. So since 5 years we have been trying. We have also tried 7 years. We find that okay, 7 years is a little bit younger because we want students to have some maturity so that they can actually start appreciating. Now children actually, when they think about robotics and then they start to work on it, they're really very excited about it. Okay, and then what happens is they would want to work, and they would they would want to build those circuits. But another thing is the concepts. What are the concepts? So they should have enough maturity to learn those concepts. Even there are a lot of material which says that they can start even earlier, but we have seen that the most value comes at the age of 8, when children have this maturity to understand things, to understand the concepts, to appreciate and even retain it, because that is the time where this transformation happened, when where they actually start realizing about themselves. Then no this thing starts coming in that, so that maturity is there, that understanding about the world, why they're doing, why they're learning, they have that kind of understanding. So this age group actually I've seen that it works very well starting from 8 years.
Okay.
So we start with robotics first, and then we get into some element of coding, and then as we progress, we have more structured coding program like Python or Java, C++, like those kind of things.
Okay. So it's like a gradual build up over the years, and they from robotics to coding and the software,
Yes, yes,
develop.
yes. Correct. So now robotics is multiple technologies which come together, right? So that's how it works out. So now they start learning electronics, and then they keep on adding this, and it has to be continuous learning because tech
Yeah.
is vast. And when it comes to robotics, we are talking about a lot of things which comes together.
Mhm.
So and these are the real skills which they are building. So
Okay.
it has to be a continuous learning process, and it does not require like a lot of rigorous learning. Maybe just couple of hours in a week over a continuous learning over a few years will make a drastic change. It will bring a lot of value to the to children.
Nice. And I know you're in the process of completing your book and on robotics, and I'm very excited to read about it. Could you share about this book? What is it that you're writing about?
Yes. so so when it comes to like basically teaching and education, then the basically the scope becomes a little bit limited, because okay, we have a presence in Bangalore, we can do online, but we can only do this much. What about others? What about different parts of the country? What about students who don't have access to computer? How can they learn? So this book is inspired by that, that we actually provide a very detailed description, very step by step, just not about the concepts or about the theory, but also step by step how do you build interesting projects. So the book is actually basically it comes with like 20 projects on electronics, and that is the first stepping stone of robotics. So this book in a hand of a child, and he can actually gather components. There'll be a description about that know how they can actually get all the components, and they can learn even if they don't have access to computer or they don't have access to fancy resources. They can still continue to learn in a very structured, in a very very good way. And since we have been doing and so since last 5 years, so we see what works, and that's what we have captured in this book. Made it absolutely simple. The book starts is catered to like 8 years, and so that it is made so simple that even 8-year old can actually go through that and build those projects just by themselves, following the book and just using the electronics components.
Nice. So, do you think it would be something that even a rural student will be able to benefit in some ways?
Yeah, sure. That is actually very interesting, and that's where what when I when so I basically come from Allahabad, and my parents are from a village, right?
Okay.
So now whenever I go to village, I see so much of difference in the urban living and the rural living, and I see that okay, they lack so much of resources, so much of opportunities. And then I realized that okay, education is such a big differentiator, no? It's a big leverage. We were lucky that we are actually got education and we are here, but just because people who are in the villages, they are not getting that education and they are in that state. So this book actually definitely will go there, and children these days are pretty excited about it now. As of now we are releasing this book in actually English, but this even the English is very simple, but the plan is that we will no release it in multiple languages so that it can actually really reach to rural community, and then students there can actually learn these things. And why not, right? So even if the electricity can reach there, then even the tech education can reach there. So computer should not be a barrier. They should continue to learn. Now, I know that villages have this smartphone and data is there, but smartphone actually becomes a very small form factor to understand anything when, especially when it comes to circuit design or building the robot. So this book, in the hands of children, they can actually really get into this and get started learning in a very good way.
Okay. So, I mean, that means the children should be able to read by themselves and implement the projects and try it out, correct?
Yes, 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 yeah. That is the expectation, and
Okay.
that's where we have actually the book we have simplified and we have added a lot of pictures to it,
Okay.
and so that even if they understand broken English, even they are able to navigate, and then they see the picture step by step, the assembly, how to assemble a robot, how to fix up a motor, how to make different kind of interesting projects like line follower, obstacle avoider, and no various things. So they will be able to do that, and actually we are also designing a kit so that it's a comprehensive complete kit which they can use, and they can use as a along with the book, and everything will be there. Even we are packing even rechargeable batteries. We've thought from that perspective also, so that they nothing stops them from learning. Only thing which, if they have interest, this will be the resource for them to learn. And these days actually I'm seeing children are so curious to learn about technology. They're seeing it all around. It's in their mind that know how it really works, and they want to explore that. So this will actually help them to get started on a very good note, and following the instructions pictures, they should be able to navigate through the different projects which are there in this book.
Super. I'm looking, and when is the book expected?
So it's near completion. I have to send it for printing.
Okay.
So the
Super.
plan is by probably by this week, this month end, which is hardly 3 4 days, I should be able to send it for printing. So I'm expecting a launch in July.
Oh, superb,
July.
superb.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. I'm sure the parents, parent community, and the students would be looking forward to it. And
Yes, yes, yes.
super. I wish the book the best. And
Thank you so much.
continuing ahead, it's like you raised some thoughts in me, like how would robotics help this children's future? Okay, should they be already inclined towards science, or could like a, let's say, a student who's mostly sure that he wants to take arts, but still a little bit of robotics he's interested in, will it benefit such children as well?
Right, right, right. Very, very interesting question. So the thing is that now going forward, and as part of the research which I've been doing, so there are 5 areas where it will be required in every single field. Okay, so actually the first one is science and maths, and a lot of actually there's a confusion in the mind of children, even parents, that maybe maths and science is not required by because my son or daughter is so good in visual arts, so good in drawing or music, it is not required. But actually, maths and science forms basis for anything and everything. So maths and science is one of the things which is essential for children in any career. Second is actually robotics and coding, because robotics and coding will be part of every single industry, and that is a saying that future industry is, you take an industry and just you add, you do plus robotics, and within robotics you have your coding and artificial intelligence, everything is integrated in that. The third area is basically understanding the data. No, understanding the data, that is something which is very important. Fourth area is basically about social media, how to master media, how to basically navigate through that, and how to, basically use that to their advantage, because we are living in a connected world, right? So I'm talking to you now, anybody from different part of the world can see this discussion. So this is absolutely important, that how to leverage these social media platforms. And the fifth one is actually financial literacy. That is again something which we miss in our school education system. The finance literacy is absolutely must. People should actually, children should learn to value money, how to create money, how the money works, what is passive income, how to generate different sources of income. So those are the things which is absolutely must. So these are the five areas which are absolutely important for children to learn. Coming to robotics and the coding, specifically, now as we see that now our technology, our world is becoming more and more technologically advanced. So this thing will increase only, right? And we're talking about automation. So automation will be done through AI and robotics. So everywhere there'll be robots. Even we are seeing that no, there are a lot of companies which are switching to robots. Now robots is actually taking away a lot of jobs, but at the same time it will be creating a lot of jobs. Now this job creation will be for the creators. So understanding about robotics coding will make them to become creators, and even if they are not very inclined towards becoming maybe engineers, they are more inclined towards going into medical or different areas, they can still use robotics, because robots will be there to, let's say somebody wants to become no no basically interested in cooking, right? So he wants to become master chef.
Mm.
Again, there are robots which can actually do that. Now the recipe can be defined by the master chef, but the cooking can actually be done by the robots, right? So those, we are approaching that world, and that world is actually very near. We are not seeing in India, but it's happening already in abroad, and it's going to come very fast. In within 5 years we are going to see a lot of robots around us. Robotics itself is going to be $1 trillion industry. Okay, so it is a big opportunity for anybody to actually start learning early. It takes time to master this, because there are a lot of things to learn, and then leverage this power. And robotics is actually is a big opportunity for children. They can use it to their advantage.
Okay. And what, like, time scale, like how computers came to India and people were just warming up to it. Is it at that kind of a nascent stage still in India about robotics, or are we a little more further down the line?
Right, right, right. So in India, actually, it is still in the nascent stage. It's like, as you said, is computers of 90s. It's like that.
Mm.
So, but the way adoption happened for computers was actually a little slower. But for robotics, the adoption will be much faster, because companies abroad completely understand this. They're working on it, and these robots are actually going to come to India and start doing a lot of things. We are already seeing a lot of robots in and around, right, on airports, in banks. There are
Mm.
a lot of startups in robotics in India. So it is going to actually come very fast, and it's going to automate a lot of things. We're already talking about self-driving cars, and to
Mm.
some extent, it's already happening. Self-driving car actually is a robot. So this thing is going to come pretty fast, but in India at an implementation level is still at a nascent stage.
Yeah. I think the question that you mentioned, like how people have this image of a robot looking very robot-like, right? But robotics is so much even in the subtler the forms
Correct.
of robotics, like how you mentioned the car and things like that. Could
Right,
you
right.
make some beliefs in that about robotics with the classical robot versus what you
Correct.
mean by robotics?
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. So when we talk about robot, it is like we talk about humanoid, right? So that
Mm.
is a humanoid, but actually a robot is nothing but a machine, and it's actually an intelligent machine. So if a machine has an intelligence, it's actually a robot. It can be in any form. It can be in form of no. There are different categories of robots. It can be a wheeled robot. It can be a walking robot. No, it can be even a snake robot, right? Even for that matter, even like no swarm robots. We talk about swarm robots. We talk about drones. Drones is nothing but actually robots on wheels. So there are different type of robots in and around, and if they have the intelligence, if any machine exhibits intelligence, actually we are talking about robots. And this intelligence comes from coding. It comes from artificial intelligence, and no, that's what robot is.
Yeah, I think that's a big mindset for people to break. I myself had it for quite some time when I would mix up the humanoid with the robotics, and until recently when I really thought, that hey, these two are different things, and what we think is robotics is everywhere, right? And
Correct.
it's great. And I would also like to thank the audience at this time for taking time to come on board to listen to this talk. And thank you so much for your time. Please do post your questions. We have some coming up. I'm going to take that before continuing. Thank you, Raktim, for your question. So, Dhananjay, robotics and 3D printer and ChatGPT will be taking away many jobs. What are your views on that?
Right, right. So, so now, so ChatGPT. So there's a lot of question around that. That whether no in academics or whether in different places, workplaces, should ChatGPT be allowed or not allowed? Right. So my thoughts are, come on, it's a tool, right? It's a super powerful, useful tool. It should be allowed everywhere, and no, basically we have to see how we can live with it and how we adapt our world around it. So yeah, so it will actually it's known fact that no, the jobs will be taken away, but actually the jobs will not be taken away. The quality and the profile of the jobs are going to change a lot. So so now, so maybe we, so let's say a cook or a driver, right? So he will not be kind of doing this the job which a robot can do. A robot can cook and a driver can drive, but so robot can do all this. But then the, as I gave the example that not a cook can actually become master chef. He designs the recipe. So now this automation which the whole world is worried about, we should actually not really, we should embrace it, because what are we automating? We are automating things which are actually repetitive things, which are the boring stuff, right? Humans are not built for that. We are not built for boring stuff. We are built for interesting things, to do interesting work, to do something creative. So we should accept automation and mold ourselves, learn those skills which makes us more creative, and use this technology to our advantage. And there is so much of opportunity which comes up even when we are getting into these technology, right? But the future is all about expertise. Even if, let's say, we are talking about ChatGPT can write code. It can give you no instructions to even build robots. But somebody should be able to take that instructions, and somebody should be able to write that code, or write that create that software and create those robots. Somebody should be able to do that, and that's where it will be, expertise will be required. And somebody who can leverage these platforms, understand, will be actually the person in charge. Other jobs, mediocre jobs, will actually go away. So the future we are getting into is more of expertise, which means more of a specialization. And that's where we all should look at, okay, what is my niche, where I'm good at, where I can add value, and that's where people should actually progress.
Yeah, I think beautifully captured. I remember the computer when it was introduced, and I would read up, and I was still young, of course, back then. And how there was this threat of jobs being lost. There was a lot of resistance in government departments to implement computers, and resistance among general people also about jobs being lost. There was little anxiety moments there, and today we have embraced it. We have made the shift. Nobody thinks a thing about computers. It's there in every home, more or less, at least in urban homes, or some form
Sure.
mobile phones. And we have adapted, and we have leveraged that today, to whether to Swiggy food, to listen to Spotify, or to watch YouTube videos and things like that.
Correct.
So I think from that perspective, robotics is a threat. I mean, with all the AI tools, and also an asset if you can leverage. So from this perspective, like of computers, we had to learn other skill sets because computer was taking away certain jobs. We had to do something else. We learned office, and we learned this and that and all those kind of things. So what allied skill set, whether soft skills or hard skills, a person could build or develop, which can act as complementary to the robotics and the other skill set that they are building.
Yes. Right. So now, see, this every person actually comes with their own skill sets, right? Every person has inherent potential. Every person, actually, for that matter, would be really good at something. So the person should actually look at that, and should improve and enhance on that. Okay. So as we actually go and do our jobs day in day out, whatever is thrown to us, we just try to manage. But now one should actually take time off, take time out from their busy schedule, start spending on in building those skills. So there are plethora of skills. There are lots of skills, like no video editing. There is public speaking. Even if it is a coding, somebody's passionate about coding. Take out those time and then master that, right? So that can be in anything. So the advice is that do what you love, what you're passionate about, because the future world is about expertise, and experts are going to actually be doing the work which is there, because whatever work is done by an expert, it is visible to global audience, right? So then every field you take, right, any field, there's so much can be done at a niche level, at a very micro niche level. So people should identify that, okay, what I'm good at. Like for example, even if you take a cooking food, somebody may be very good at cooking South Indian, some may be very good at cooking North Indian, right? Some may be making desserts. There's so many no entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, who are making these things, right? So identify what is your thing which you're really passionate about, pursue that. It's nothing about hard skills or soft skills. Everything comes together. Yeah, there are defined like public speaking, the way you present. No, people who no English is not a barrier. People can talk in any language, but they should be able to express themselves. And what best other than something which somebody is passionate about, he can very well express those things in any language. It doesn't matter.
Super. And at this point, I would also like to share about my book that I've written. It's called Three Culprits: Laziness, Fear, and Doubt. It's available on Amazon. It's to help people to battle these three demons. Sometimes they come in our life. Laziness is obvious, the what has become almost cancerous, and the fear that can sometimes stop us from achieving our true success, and the self-doubt that can also come as barriers. So I've shared the link on the chat. I hope it's visible to you wherever you're viewing this on different channels. And do follow us. My channels are there as Will Strength Coach, or on my YouTube channel, and Dhananjay's channels wherever you're watching. So you can get more such updates and interesting insights and thoughts and dialogues like this, and we can continue to feel energized and inspired by your support. So thank you so much if you're listening in. And to continue, Dhananjay, what is the common objection or fear or things that parents generally raise for signing up for this robotic programs, or what is their things barriers to them?
Okay, yeah. So now, when parents, when they come, they first of all they think, is it the right age? Can they learn these things? We learned when we were grown up, right? So you're teaching things which we have been teaching in engineering. Now the thing is that if any thought put in a simple way can be understood, if it's something a student can understand and they can work on it, why not? One thing which we forget is that our world was different than what we are living in the current world. Now, children who are basically getting born, they're born with internet in their hand, with mobile phones and tablet all around, right? So they understand this technology very well, and that's where the term is used called digital native. They understand these technology natively. So that is something which we have to explain it to them, that no, see, whatever you think is not really, these children are different. In fact, we find our children better than us when it comes to using technology. If it is to fix the internet at home, router at home, or even television at home, so they are much better equipped. So that is where we explain to parents that no, they can do it. And then we do some kind of a trial. We give them some small projects, and then when they are able to work through that, and then no, they demonstrate to parents. The parents themselves, they're amazed. Oh wow, they this is terrific. And that is the time they are able to actually get that mind shift. Other is that no, okay, my son is very busy, right? Now he's a busy schedule, and he is basically in a lot of things. So 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 that is fine, which I encourage. And children should be in constructive activity, right? They should be probably playing sports. They should be into probably anything which excites them. They enjoy, like maybe music or maybe dance. They should actually do that. But along with that, spending some time in learning technology is also very important. It comes to when it comes to robotics, uh, and and it does not require a lot of time. It does not require a lot of time for children to actually learn these things. They're pretty fast at it. And the so our training program is designed set so that children actually not only they learn these things, but they are able to implement and show the learning outcome. And that's how parents see, oh yeah, my child is learning, and that's how it gives them confidence. Also, our program is designed for competitions, where we take children for competitions. It's highly focused on competitions, so that they start becoming prepared. No, prepare for the world, uh, highly competitive world, from a very healthy environment, which is these competitions bring in. And these competitions also bring in element of innovation, creativity. So that again is a need of the hour. These innovation, creativity is some one of the essential 21st century skills, and those are the things which technology makes it possible.
Okay. So how's like robotics helping them build the innovation skill set? Is it through those projects, or how do you go about?
Yes, yes. So now, see, about innovation, there is something which, unless until I know that these things are, no, there's a gap on that, we will not be able to do it, right? So whether it even it is possible or not. So having this skill set about robotics and technology in their hands, they can actually see that, okay, yeah, this is something which I can do. This is the possibility which is there. And whatever, if I have a problem and I want to solve the problem, let's say as simple as that, garbage segregation problem, can that be done by a machine? Once they get exposure to these technologies around robotics, machine learning, then they say, yeah, it is actually possible to solve these kind of problems. So whatever their thoughts, their ideas are there, they will be able to leverage technology to solve them. Now, and other thing is that things are happening so much around us, right? So every day we are hearing that, okay, this is happening on technology field. The robot is doing. Chat GPT has come. No, it is able to answer questions. So what is the underlying technology which powers these things? So by learning these things now through the program on robotics and AI, they can understand, okay, how really this world works, how internet works, how computer works, how artificial intelligence works. So they'll be able to connect the dots, will be able to understand that, and they can learn much more from the environment, because they will start understanding that okay, yeah, this is happening because of, there's a machine learning where a lot of data has been this system has been trained with a lot of data, so it can actually do this kind of thing. So that thing will come once they do something practically by their own hands by building these things.
Wonderful. I mean, I think you drove home a very interesting point, and kind of it's my takeaway. It's like how there could be different things coming, emerging every day. ChatGPT today, and this tool and that tool, but the underlying technology, like you mentioned, the robotics and the AI, if they could understand that fundamental understanding, then and if they could do that core better, the foundation better, then whatever may be the new thing of the day, they will be able to understand it much more easily. Am I correctly interpreting what you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. No, you're absolutely right. So, see, it is something that somebody's talking about. Okay, AI is doing this, AI is doing that. Now, the knowledge which we are getting is actually incomplete, right? But if I know that, okay, what is the underlying technology, I will be able to understand more, and then my knowledge will actually start multiplying. So over the years, my knowledge becomes exponential in that particular field, that particular environment, just by knowing underlying things and just by being present in this environment, right? So otherwise everything is black box to us, right? Oh, how it works somehow, right? It works somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then the knowledge gets blocked. But
Mm.
if no, okay, then it works because of data. Then one can actually think through deeper. Okay, what is the source of the data? How the data is coming? So then they can say, oh, okay, ChatGPT has been trained on what 75 billion data points. The ChatGPT 4 has been trained on trillions of data points. They can understand that. They can make sense out of that.
Mm. Okay, sounds good. So what would you advise students that they can do at home right now, something that can build their robotics mindset, if I could say.
Yes, yes. So now the thing is, first of all, children and even parents, they should try to find a program, right? A program. They should try to find a guide and the coach, because when it comes to learning technology, it's not that straightforward, right? We have seen, even if you take coding, right? It's not that straightforward. It takes some guidance, some work to be done. Now, if robotics is there, it has a lot of technology comes into play. There's a lot of interfacing which happens between coding, hardware, AI, right? Mechanical elements. So things will go wrong, and children will start getting stuck if they're trying to learn by themselves. So parents should find some program which is probably in-person classes are much more effective. If in-person classes is not an option, then maybe online. But online again should be live classes, so that a student can get complete clarity. And so they should find that program just by buying some kit from Amazon, just and going through YouTube video. That's not going to help, and that is actually not a recommended way to learn. Things should be done in a much more structured, in the guidance of expert, because technology requires a lot of guidance. So finding a right program for children is actually what parents should do, and get children actually started with that. So the book which I am writing is in that direction, so that gives complete guidance. So we are not present, but the book is so detailed that anybody can pick that up. Anybody with absolutely zero knowledge can pick that up and start building circuits step by step, and start making really complicated circuits. I'm talking about like line follower and obstacle avoider. Just by following these projects, they can master all these technologies and they can build these kind of things.
Super. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the book, and I'm sure many parents are. And coming back to this robotics, is there how do people reach out to you, or how can they connect and understand more about robotics in person with you?
Yes. So we have actually our website on robopreneur.com,
Okay.
and I think that link can be found in the description. And then we basically invite parents for a discussion. We invite children for the discussion. So we show them, we gauge their interest, and learning, in my mind, should always be interest based. So learning is actually taken. So we don't we don't try to teach, or we don't try to educate students. We want them to learn by themselves. So we see that, okay, if the interest is there in the child to really learn, and most of the children actually these days have interest in learning and exploring technology. So no, parents can actually fill a form on robopreneur.com, and then they can reach out to us, and then no, we set up a session for about half an hour to 40 minutes, where we explain them the program. We also show children how to do things, and we ask them to build certain circuit if it is an in-person session. So we are based out of Bangalore. So if it's in person, then we actually invite them to our center, and then we let them do this thing circuit or something, and then accordingly we take it forward. We suggest a learning path, and then we take it forward, because children may be starting in a different grade. So our program start from grade 3, but children can actually join in any grade. We suggest them a learning path, depending on the maturity, understanding, and what a child has done. That's how we actually they can continue their learning journey.
Super. I've shared the link robopreneur.com on the chat, so it should be visible to you wherever you're watching. And you could connect with Dhananjay and his team, and will probably guide you further on how to go forward. And Dhananjay is also writing a book in the last stages of completion, and it should be out soon. And he will probably share on his social media handle, and I will be sharing us as well. So do follow us, do follow wherever you're watching this, do share this video if you like, and it could help somebody who wants to understand about robotics for children, and it'll probably help them and give them more clarity. And I'm also sharing a form called Ask Your One Question, being a life coach and elite performance coach for entrepreneurs, executives, students, parents, helping them make sense of things and helping them become elite performance. So this question will help me also to curate better content on these dialogues, help me make those videos for you, help me maybe even give you a complimentary session. So this form, ask your one question, I've shared in the chat box. Feel free to click the link and fill it out, and it will help me a lot. And continuing again, Dhananjay, any closing thoughts you have for the parents and the people who are going to be, taking up robotics as their careers?
Yes. So, so that is something which I tell to parents, that start actually the children as soon as they get to know. Any grade is fine, but let them start with that learning, because that is going to always help. Because as we move forward, especially students who want to build a career in field of engineering, on the technology field, there every university is looking for these kind of experience, because one has to, when somebody is building the profile, one has to show those kind of skills. As of now, Indian education is more based, basically, highest education is more based on the competitive exams. But even that, they may start accepting the profiles, they may also start seeing the profiles. So this knowledge not only builds the right skill in children, but they also build a profile which will be helpful for them to get into the top colleges in the world. And that's what we tell to parents, that our program will prepare children for any career, whatever they want to pursue when they grow up. So, so this thing will definitely help them from that perspective. And these are the real skills which children learn, and then they can utilize when they grow up, when they're even in 11th grade or 12th grade. They can actually think about solving some problem. They may even decide whether to solve this problem, maybe build their own startup at the age of 18, or maybe go for higher education. So it's all up to them. This opens the world of opportunities in any direction which the child wants to approach. Let's say if they decide to reach to join higher education program, even going there, a lot of colleges, universities, they have these startup cells. A lot of startup ideas are actually coming from these universities. So these children who have this knowledge, they can actually utilize, they can form group, and while they are working through their 4 years, they can actually come up with some ideas, some thoughts. Like, no, all these, the Google came from no, during undergrad program, right? So like a lot of startups came from this undergrad program, and then people, then the founders actually dropped out from those universities. So that only happened because all these people, all the Google founder or no Apple founder, they had early access to tech education. They started learning at the age of 8, 9, 10, and Mark Zuckerberg started at the age of 9, right? Elon Musk no, built a software, sold it at the age of 12. So this early education really helped them to decide their path, and then create a huge impact on the world. So technology provides all that access. So get your child started with tech learning. They may be interested in education. They may be interested in sports, but tech education should be there. It's a sure short way for children to have an amazing life. So those are my thoughts.
I mean, it's wonderful because it was nice to know about Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and others who have started off early birds, and how this can give an edge to some people who are especially passionate about robotics to boost their career. And in general, as the changing world, it's uh, like, are we going to be computer literate? Back in the 90s, no, should we wait? Now it's no brainer, you have to be computer literate if you want to do any form of,
Exactly.
probably we need to be robotic or robopreneur literate, in
Right.
years to come. But I want to ask you another question. I remember that a couple of your students had won a prize in the US, and you had shared that moment, and I was very taken. If you could share about that.
Yeah, so so we have a lot of students from US and Canada, and then we specifically work with them on different areas in coding robotics. So one of the group we participated recently, and they went to WRO, is World Robot Olympiad, and so one of the best competitions actually in the world. So they went to US Open. It's a national level championship, and they came up, so there was a theme defined, and they came up with the bright idea about that. And no so they learned, they have been learning tech from us, robotics from us, and then we guided them from the from the technology use, how you can actually use this technology. They coded, they built a robot all by themselves. We just provided them with about the know-how, that know, okay, what all is there in the robotics technology. So, and then yeah, they were able to actually bag the first prize, and they have qualified for the international event, and they're actually traveling to Denmark in September. So that is really great. And yeah, so the children are also pretty bright, and we were very happy that with our guidance they were able to achieve such a great immense feat, right? And they're very pumped up. So when I spoke to them after the event, they were really pumped up.
Nice. Super. I mean, it's a great story to hear. And I hope the audience has taken away a lot of value. All the viewers are taking away a lot of value. If you have any final question, now is the time before we wrap up. You can post it in the chat. It will, so we can take that up now in the last closing minutes. And especially about robotics. Today, I have with me Dhananjay, founder of Robopreneur, who's been with some big giants like Apple and Cisco, and now is passionate advocate of bringing robotics to young minds, and how this is the need of the hour. It's like computers back in the 90s, today robotics in the 2020s. And the sooner we can adapt and adopt this in our lives, and not to confuse this with humanoids, but robotics, as in the AI and the underlying technology that's prevalent today and that is making life easy. Yes, it is scary that we're going to be losing some jobs, but it is also hopeful about creating new paths and new jobs for ourselves. And like we say in my company, we are skills beyond education. And unless we keep building those skills beyond education, beyond academics, we will not know how to manage these new generation, new challenges, new adventures that life brings upon us. And with that in mind, I'd like to thank everyone who listened in and tuned in. And Dhananjay, thank you to you. A special thanks for taking time out and being on this show. And thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Captain Pritam. It's really awesome that no we are talking here, and it's really helpful for me to share my thoughts, share my views, and share my upcoming book. So thank you so much for having me in this program.
I wish you the best, Dhananjay. Hope the Robopreneur adventure and the whole journey and the mission goes forward. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Bye
Bye.
bye.